We are talking about trade wars constantly at this point, and these ratcheting up of tariffs and other threats. What does that mean to your state?
You know, certainly to any state, including Kentucky, there is the potential for disruption in the marketplace, but this is the nature of business. It just is. I mean, no matter what decision is made, there's going to be somebody who feels that they've won something and others who feel that they've potentially lost something. And in any negotiation, which is what trade discussions ultimately are, there's going to be some disequilibrium for a period of time. So for Kentucky specifically, this recommendation by the EU to put a tariff of 25% on bourbon, there's two reasons why people put tariffs on historically. They put tariffs on because they want to defend an industry or capability within their country, or because they want to raise money. And this is just a money grab by the EU because they don't even have a bourbon industry. So it's basically a money grab on a popular product. We have about an $8.5 billion business in bourbon, and about $180 million of the $8.5 billion goes to Europe. Europeans are still going to drink more bourbon this year than they did last year. They're just going to pay more for it because their government's going to take some of it.
Governor, I'd argue that these are actually politically motivated. It's a response to what they've seen happening from the United States. And a state like Kentucky has been targeted because the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, hails from your state. And one of the things that we've seen with a lot of these tariffs is they really are targeting Republican bases.
There may be some element of truth to that, but the president is correct. I'm not advocating that we get into a trade war. I'm really not. I'm a free trade advocate. At the same time, we have about a $12 to $15 billion deficit every month with Europe in this specific case, who we're talking about. $12 to $15 billion a month. A trade war of the type you're describing, if it were to happen, Europe loses. So does pretty much every other partner with whom we trade, with rare exception. So to that end, ultimately, the consumers, not just in this country, and the workers, not just in this country, but in the very countries that are threatening these retaliations, they too lose. And so ultimately, if we have deficits, it is we who lose less than they do. So they don't want this. This is a game of posturing. It comes at expense. It does affect the markets, as you've noted. They will probably get hammered today. The market and business capital doesn't like uncertainty. They want some element of certainty, including investors that I'm talking to here at the Select USA conference.
Governor, let's talk about another issue in your state, and that is the pension reform law that you'd been supporting. It made its way through the government there, but now a judge has struck it down as unconstitutional. Let's talk a little bit about what happened. This was something that would rein in some of the benefits that had been promised to state workers. What happened? How urgent is this? It's an issue facing a lot of states.
First, I want to clarify, it doesn't rein in anything for state workers, and that's the one sad reality of it, is that it was a fairly innocuous bill. This judge who struck it down is frankly a terrible judge. He's not a very competent attorney, for that matter, and he's gotten elected because that's how you get into this position, because he's a liberal Democrat representing a liberal district. And so unfortunately, he makes decisions based on politics. This will ultimately, his decision will be overruled. This will stand because it doesn't do much. It simply makes changes for people who are not even employees yet, but might be at some point in the future. This is a $4 to $5 trillion problem in America, the unfunded public pensions. And if we don't address it, in Kentucky's as bad as anywhere. We have about 60 to 80 billion in unfunded liability. Per capita, it is the largest of any state in America. What we've simply done is try to stop future bleeding. We haven't even begun to address how we're going to fix the current wound of underfunded status. This is a problem for Kentucky, every other state that's watching this, and the federal government as a whole. And if we don't fix it, it is going to be catastrophic for the United States.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.